Hi, and welcome to this video build log of the Dynam SR Trainer. The Dynam SR Trainer is a model of the Cirrus SR-22. The SR-22 is a four-place general aviation airplane known for its long, slender wings, smooth flowing lines, high-tech composite construction, and a really fancy glass cockpit option. This SR Trainer is the ARF version, which means I'll be using my own transmitter, receiver, and battery. The model came in a heavy cardboard shipping container. It had some scuffs and tears, but there was no damage to the box that you see here, and the interior components were all in good shape. Inside the box, there were three heavy cardboard interior containers. One contained the fuselage and the motor cowling. One contained the wings and the horizontal stabilizer, and another contained the plastic parts kit and the propeller. As a result, the foam is all in very good shape and there are no dents or bruises on it. Also in the box is the instruction manual. The instruction manual is filled with photos that describe the assembly process. As is often the case with models coming from China, I think they used a computer to do the translation because sometimes the words don't make sense. But if you've ever worked with a foam model before, you'll find that the photos are absolutely great in helping you understand what goes on. One of the things that I found particularly humorous in this instruction manual was on step 13, the instructions read, "Bubble gum on the left and right wing, James." Now my name is James, and so I thought, well, what a nice way to customize these instructions for me. Well, probably not. But in any case, they're more than adequate to help you get the SR Trainer put together. The only thing that they don't include is instructions on how to install the optional flaps. And since you're watching this video, you'll know how to do that. The other thing in the box is the Dynam decal sheet. The Dynam decal sheet is a heavy vinyl decals, and I've used their decals before and they're quite good. As a matter of fact, I was able to look on Google Images and find some real SR-22s that had color schemes very similar to the one you'll end up with this decal set. One of the annoying things about this decal set, however, is the fact that the N numbers, or the registration numbers on the decal sheet, are different for the left and the right. This is a bit of an annoyance and will probably mean that I'm not going to use them. The chances are people wouldn't notice the one on the left is different from the one on the right, but this one seems like a pretty avoidable mistake. But in any case, there we are. Now we're ready to begin on the fuselage. So far, I put a little bit of pressure on the control horns, the servo mountings, the engine mounting to make sure that they're firmly attached, and everything was. I've also dry fitted the horizontal stabilizer, which I'm ready to put in now. I'm going to be using the glue that came with the SR Trainer kit. There are other options for you. With this EPO foam, expanded polyolefin foam, you're able to use regular CA glue. Some people like to use epoxy, others polyurethane glue such as Gorilla Glue. All of those I've used successfully on this kind of foam, but today I'm going to be using the glue that came with the kit. So let's apply that and then slide the horizontal stabilizer into place. I've loosened the control rods here as the horizontal stabilizer is going to fit underneath them as the model is sitting upside down here. And so it just slides right into place. Apply a little pressure, wipe off the excess glue. I'll reconnect the control rod just by bending the elevator and then the rudder over and making those fit. But in the meantime, I'm just going to give this a few minutes to set up. Now, before it gets completely dry, I'm going to flip the model over. What I'm going to do here is to measure the distance from the front of the airplane, and there's the seam along the fuselage half that I'm going to use as a reference point, and the tip of the horizontal stabilizer. And so I'm just going to have a piece of string here, and I'm going to put my thumb and my thumbnail right on that point, measure it to the tip of the horizontal stabilizer, and mark it with my other thumb. And then I'm going to bring it over to the other side and check it against the tip of the other side. What I'm doing here is just making sure that the horizontal stabilizer is perpendicular to the center line of the fuselage. So when you were in 10th grade and were wondering when you'd ever use the properties of an equilateral triangle, well, now you know. The next step in the assembly process is to mount the nose gear. The nose gear is steerable. It's got the nice fairing on it, and so it should go together here pretty quickly. What I've done is I've loosened the control rod here in the fuselage so that I can pull this out to mount on the control horn here more easily. I'm just simply going to push it through the hole and work the Z-bend, and then pivot the assembly and fit it into the gap that is right there. So that's pretty easy to do. Now the hole that I've got that in was a little bit too small when I first got it for the size of the music wire, so I used just a little thumb vise to broaden that hole just a hair so that the wire could fit into it easily. Now it's just a matter of screwing the nose gear assembly into the plastic plate that is provided there in the fuselage. It's a real nice little mounting plate that should give it nice strength. And that's all there is to that. It moves very nicely. I'll go back inside now and put the control horn through the easy connector, line up the steering, and tighten it down. Now the next step in the assembly process is to mount the cowling for the airplane, and that's just going to slide over the front. Now there's already mounted against the firewall here some double stick tape that's going to be used to mount that. I'm going to delay that for a little bit until I have my radio mounted and the battery connected. I'll put the propeller on loosely and then test it to make sure that the propeller rotates the right way. Now there's red, black, and blue wires. It's most likely put in exactly the right way, but I'd hate to have to yank off the cowling against this double stick tape if for some reason the motor happens to be rotating the wrong direction. So I'm going to take that probably unnecessary step, but just to make sure so that I don't have to damage the foam if for some chance that it isn't rotating properly. The other thing that I noticed here on the inside of this model is that the screws holding the control horns into the servos were missing. That was a little bit of an annoyance. I know I have a lot of little servo screws here in the workshop, and so I'm going to be screwing those in, because otherwise you're going to be able to just pull those control horns off the servo. And so as you go through the model and check security, make sure that you've got all the parts, because that certainly would not be something you'd want to have happen, have that control horn vibrate loose in flight and lose control of your elevator, for example.